Welcome back, everyone, to the LCS. Before we get into our last match of the day, wanted to do you the honors of introducing you all to Mike Schwartz, the interim GM for Immortals. First of all, hey, how's it going today?
Hey, thanks for intro. Pretty good so far. Last match of the day. Can't wait for it.
Oh, definitely. You have a lot to look forward to with your org on the horizon. Now, you have a lot of experience across esports. For anyone that might be meeting you for the first time, why don't you just go ahead and introduce yourself and your role within the Immortals organization?
Sure. So right now, I'm currently the interim general manager for the League of Legends team. I've been with Immortals for the past couple of years, actually, working as the GM for the Overwatch team, the LA Valiant. And before that, I actually got started in esports as a player development coach with Counterlogic Gaming back in 2016. And I was there for 2 years with their League of Legends and Counter-Strike team. So coming up on 5 years right now in esports across the orgs. So it's been a good time.
Now, circling back to League of Legends here in the LCS, and I mean, the Immortals squad has underwent a lot of changes, right? Both to roster and staff, and you yourself being the interim GM, who exactly as a whole is leading the team currently, and what progress has been made to finding those permanent staff positions?
Yeah, so right now, you're running with myself, kind of overseeing the operational aspects of the team, and then we also have our 2 assistant coaches, Mala and Go-To-One. So we're working together as a unit to try to make sure that we're running the operations on a day-to-day basis, making sure the players have what they need. And just in regards to, kind of for the future, we're still doing interviews and searching for those candidates to really set us on the path for 2021.
And the path has been changing a lot in recent weeks because of the drastic changes that have been made on all fronts. And as a result, the audience perception has changed a lot as well, going from disapproving dissent to really boasting about these academy players that are showing out, the returning of familiar faces. What is your view on that swift change in perception that has been occurring?
Yeah, so with the guys, obviously the transition period when we had decided to part ways with Keaton and Zab, we put the academy guys in for a 4-run gauntlet, but we sat down and made sure that they were ready to go. And we want to approach the philosophy for IGC as a whole is let's focus on these younger talents, let's give them that opportunity to develop. So it seemed like the right time to really just put them in and see what they had. I mean, I think they've been performing extremely well in the LCS for the past week, and even yesterday had a really great game against Team Liquid. A shame that those 2 auto attacks kind of knocked us off a little bit there, but looking forward to a great game with them again today against EG.
And with those changes, what are your expectations, not just for Summer Split, but beyond when it comes to Immortals?
So, for the rest of Summer Split, we want to continue to evaluate those positions across the board and make sure, we understand, where all those pieces fall going into the rest of the split, what roster is going to give us the best chance of success. And then also into 2021, what we think that's going to look like. But like I said, we want to focus on getting that young talent and really developing and pushing it forward. So, make the best finish we can, hopefully push through the playoffs this Summer Split, being that it is top 8. And then as we lead into 2021, really just evaluating and making sure we set the expectations and philosophy going forward.
Well, we're all looking forward to seeing how that push goes. Thank you so much, Mike, for joining me here today.
No problem. Thank you for having me.
Alrighty, everyone. I know we're ready to get into games, so without further ado, let's send it to the casters to close out our gameplay for the day.
Thank you very much, Tigers. Welcome back to the caster desks. And yes, Immortals, I think, have been looking a bit better with the roster swap, and they're going to be going toe-to-toe with a pretty strong squad of Evil Geniuses. They played Team Liquid very close yesterday.
Yeah, they did. And what came out of that game, I think, with more evidence is further discussion specifically on the champ select of Evil Geniuses and Jiizuke. This is probably going to be one of the biggest topics for the week moving forward because so many of EG's losses, well, all of their losses, have really been pinpointed first on, okay, they big casted in a Cloud9, got blasted. Invested time in him and kept him in the lineup. When we hear that Huni gets signed to a team, people start to think, oh man, are they going to sub him out? Then they're going to have to move a lot of stuff around. But Kumo has really stepped up thus far in the LCS. Now, back to the draft points. EG and Jiizuke specifically, all of their losses, they've been these clanger games that have been the Kassadin versus Cloud9. He got Jiizuke on the support pick of the Karma. That's not going to work out. Most recently, the Kog'Maw game, which cannot go split push, very low mobility champion. And people are starting to really constrict their view on Jiizuke and what he can do as a player and what the overall team should then do as far as their game plan coming into Champion Select and having split push options.
Yeah, I mean, they were I think easily the second or third best team of the spring split, and that was off the back of them being a very explosive team, a very aggressive team, and then when it came down to team fights, Bang was there to be cleanup, basically never died, laned solidly, team fought exceptionally well, but it was aggression out of Svenskeren and Jiizuke to go do a bunch of stuff. And this split, they are a much less aggressive team. They are trying to find different looks. As you mentioned, the Kassadin, right, where, well, they don't have pressure out of the mid lane now either for the first 12 minutes of the game, and they play for the Karma game, where, okay, yes, he has some push pressure, but he can't be explosive on the other side of the map. It's just a Bang composition. Kog'Maw, a little bit similar like the Kassadin, where you're not doing anything very much in the early game, and you're waiting to scale till rank 2 ultimate. And though they're trying those styles, and I think early in summer is the time to try those styles, I will always accept a team trying to branch out because the top 8 do make playoffs. That's going to be fairly comfortable for a team as good as EG. But yes, that hasn't worked. They've picked up 3 losses because of those trials. So when does it go back to old standard, to old faithful? Maybe it's today.
All right, well, they lock in a little piece of Old Faithful with his very good scaling front line, very good scaling back line. A classic Aphelios Trundle, first round on red side here. We've seen so many teams do it over Summer Split. What are Immortals going to look at? A little bit more playmaking. I like always trying to go this route into an Aphelios Trundle opening. When you get your Lee Sin, it enables Lee Sin, or enables Xmithie to go try and create a lot of those picks earlier in the game. And basically your goal is what you're saying, I'm going to try and create a play, get a kill, then I take the objective. Trundle is the one who grinds it out, plays off of a winning lane or something, and focuses on PvE a little bit more. But Lee Sin and Rakan double lock-in is so much more. We need to find our pick, we need to find our kill first, then we'll go pick up the objective afterwards.
And look at the priority on getting Kumo onto Volibear as soon as possible. No flex pick shenanigans, just saying, no. Svenskeren's in the Trundle. We got Volibear for the top side. We are ready to go for this one. He's going to like his matchup here against Allorim, who, to be fair, even when the man was given counterpick on the Immortal side, he's like, yeah, still Malphite duty. This man is just going to be on tanks, and that's okay. That's fine. It's an okay way to play the game out, but it also means that Kumo doesn't seem to be very afraid of getting counterpicked anymore in the matchup, and they can just ban a couple tanks away and let him feel comfortable up there.
All right, continued focus on support bans. Rakan always worried about tankier engaged supports. Thresh also to me is one of the really good ones. I always talk about it, but it seems like people ban Leon and Nautilus more often. But I'm always happy to play Thresh into it, take the skill matchup. I love when you see a good Thresh player interrupt Rakan with the flays and then hit him with death sentence while they're trying to jump back to their carries in a straight line. So I would vote Zeyzal, go for that. A little bit more skill intensive, but I know so many people just love going with the Naut because it's a easier point and click, and obviously you just have the auto stall too.
Sure, of course, very, very strong, and yeah, I can't claim anyone thinking Nautilus as champion is great overall, but the bans are finished going through. Set is going to be added to the ban list there, so the tried and true Allorim Malphite is available. They take the Orianna combo that Immortals wanted to run last time around, though. Ori Malphite will not be available this time around for the squad, and honestly, with the Ezreal over the top and Rakan there, the Immortals very easily could have wanted to play another Orianna composition, so it will push Insanity down. His Zoe is still up, but otherwise it will have to be a new pick for him. Allorim, you hovered this one last time. You hovered the Urgot last time, and you went with Malphite.
Yeah!
This time he's going to lock it in, though.
All right, no more Malphite for Allorim. He's out of there. He's had a lot of those games thus far. Urgot is another one of the champions that he's super well known for now, after his time in Academy. I do like it to the top side, the more tanky options, kind of grinding you down. Urgot got a buffs a couple of patches ago, pretty far in the past, but nobody else really picked it up. You see sometimes like some spot games from Whippo or something in LEC, other players that really like the champion and enjoy the semi-tankiness of it. But rounding it out with Insanity's Azir, like you said, I have really liked his Orianna play thus far. For a rookie, he performed super well on stage, and now he's got his hands on one of the most iconic carry champs in League of Legends.
This is going to be a fun one. I like the competitions on both sides here. Evil Geniuses are going again for a fairly standard team fight-based composition. Now, I will say Jiizuke is good on damage-focused team fighters. His Corki game, right, that was the very first perfect game of the split for them, right, when they dismantled CLG very, very hard on their first game, so he can play the backlanders really well. I like that he's on a champion with some agency in the Orianna, can be the big playmaker, can go for flash shockwaves and whatnot as needed, so I think this fits him very, very well. I still think any EG comp that backs it up with solid team fighting. Banga's on Aphelios. They've obviously got a solid front line here with a Trundle, with the Volibear, with the Nautilus, and then the the Orianna helping out. EG's comp feels well-rounded. It feels good for what they're going to be able to do. The LeBlanc band away means you got to play something more standard, and it's going to look really solid. I do like the Immortals side, though. I think they have looked pretty good on this lineup. They've played some top teams very, very close, and I'm excited to see the Urgot come out.
Yeah. I mean, ever since they've put the Xmithie roster back in, with Apollo, with Hakuho, and then the rookie solo lane kind of flavor, it's been a bit of a revival for the team and for the brand, and people are kind of cheering for them again as underdogs. They're definitely still underdogs going against EG here, as this EG draft, we've talked about having kind of a checklist of approved Jiizuke champions. This definitely does check that box. So they are within the bounds and setting themselves up for success.
Yeah, and so it's going to end up being a fun game. Of course, we know now that second place, we've got two squads up there tied at 6 and 2. EG cannot reach that mark at the end of the first round robin, so they will have to sit around fourth or so, even if they win out, until they get some rematches and can pull those teams down with them. And again, a lot of that is them experimenting, it feels like, to a certain degree. I think EG are still an exceptionally strong team. I think they're still one of the favorites to do very well, maybe go to Worlds, things like that. We get the comps at the bottom of the screen here as well. And I do hold out hope for Immortals. We had the interview before, where he's talking about, well, we could probably make playoffs, top 8, do it, but I feel like Immortals are maybe more like a 5th or 6th place team. I think this is about where I would peg this team so far. You kind of throw out the first 4 games, look at the ones they've played so far, and these games look winnable. This team looks pretty solid.
Yeah, I mean, and we'll see what they can get here. We are instilling some competitive integrity right now, so we can further dive into the champion select while we have some time. Again, I talked about it as soon as they were picked, but I love this type of jungle matchup where you're saying, Xmithie, all right, here is the initiative. Here's the ball. Take this ball in the early game. Let's see what kind of plays you can create. And him and Hakuho do have one of the above average support and jungle time spent together, which is jungle support proximity stats. And this is just a match made in heaven. Lee Sin and Rakan, two of the most mobile champs in the game. I always love to see when they can make those jumps and play off of each other to catch someone out of position. And so you look for these important timing windows. When bottom gets their first recall for their supports, almost all the time, they'll head straight up mid lane, so they have options of going to either side of the map before looking to place their wards with their jungler. Sometimes they can, go offensively, try and gank a lane, and an Urgot lane is one of those. So those types of timings where you're looking at a couple of these backs are what we're going to keep our eyes on.
Yeah, and realistically, these lanes do look gankable as well. Aside from post 6 Volibear, who can ult away a little bit, the Immortals jungle support power duo, I think, has a lot of very good targets, and these kills can absolutely come through. So I'm very curious to see how that one can play out. Coming into the week, Hakuho and Xmithie led the entire league in kill participation overall. That they were not even just best in their role, they were best in the entire league. Those two had done so much of the heavy lifting here for Immortals. I think they're two of their very, very best players. And I think they are going to look really solid. Now, we did have to remake the game. Xmithie, I believe, brought heal into the game, which means we have to rebuild the delay. So for all that stuff, we are going to go to a short commercial break. When we come back, though, meet us here for Immortals vs. Evil Geniuses. Hello and welcome back to the show. We are getting into the game before too terribly long. You've got our faces for about 2 minutes, and then Summoner's Rift will replace this, and you will instead get champions and summoner icons and the whole kit and caboodle. I want to spend this time with Kobe here to talk about Immortals and where they actually stand. I'm not going to ask you to power rank them specifically, but I want to mention again the fact that they swapped all 5 players out after the first 4 games. They started 0-4. Their current record is 1-6. So I think they're actually 1-2, but those 2 losses are Cloud9 and Team Liquid, the number 1 and 2 teams in the standing. So, okay, they're not number 1, number 2, but they beat Golden Guardians, who are sitting in 7th. And, hey, they got another sort of middle-of-the-pack opponent here in a 4-3 Evil Geniuses.
And this is why when we hit the early to mid stages of the split, all of the teams in the bottom parts of the standing, this time I believe it was 7th and below, all start making these roster moves. It does lend more excitement to the games because you're like, okay, different look here. And there's an added caveat with Immortals that a lot of people didn't agree with the initial move of benching so many of their LCS players, Xmithie, Apollo, Hakuho, that just puts, I think, more excitement behind this one. And when you add in the fact that their rookies have actually had good performances in their LCS debut, I mean, this roster got the first Immortals win of summer in their first game back into the LCS with Insanity and Allorim both being big parts of it. And that's the kind of thing that I think is kind of heartwarming and bringing people into these games and giving them some kind of renewed faith and maybe some renewed life for the squad. Going against EG, I still think is a very difficult task, as EG have proven themselves to be extremely fearsome, especially if they have a draft that you more closely associate with them being able to pull off.
Yeah. I mean, EG on their best day can challenge the absolute best. I mean, they are one of 2 teams to have beaten Cloud9 all year, right? That is an extremely high accolade. They definitely can make these big hits. They can be absolutely fearsome, and this, as you mentioned, comp looks good for them. Yes, EG is definitely still a sweetheart for this year, for the summer split run, for playoffs, for Worlds, for all that. It's just, hey, they've been a bit inconsistent on the day. Immortals, of course, just fun to watch. I'm always a fan of seeing players either newly to the LCS like Insanity or returning after a not very great initial debut, players like Allorim, who I've liked a fair bit this split, right? He's like, yeah, pick me Malphite, it's cool, I'll play the tank job, it's fine. I like that he's grabbed Urgot here into this one. Anytime a player brings something out a little bit out of the meta, I'm always happy to see it. I always really, really enjoy that. Anyone who's willing to play something just a little off kilter is fun. So this is a team that I think is exciting, is quite good, and yeah, we'll measure them up against one of the better teams in the league.
Yeah. The thing is, this time around, so EG have a pretty straightforward comp that doesn't have a lot of split pushing. And that's one of the things that when we're usually talking about, oh yeah, the EG style, that's a pretty big part of it. I will say that Orianna, with her extra mobility, we've definitely seen her in side lanes, pushing out side lanes before joining the rest of the team. And she is going to be safer than something like the AP Kog'Maw, which we saw getting picked off a lot. But it is going to be a much more straightforward match. As we have fixed the summoner spells for Xmithie, we're back into the game, competitive integrity delay, and all happy to be here.
I'm definitely happy to be here, Kobe. I am excited. I love casting League of Legends, and I really do think you're going to get some good stuff out of this game. I like both these teams. I think they're solid. Kumo flashes some IG flare. That one was not on the bingo, nor was the Crab. But you know what? That's fine. He's just going for some bonus points here. I like the Crab. He's against Urgot. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but I'm a fan.
I like it. Did you notice that Svenskeren also loaded in with the Crab? So maybe they double Crab gank the Crab got. Too bad he didn't choose that actual skin. But I really am going to be looking for those early opportunities, especially with these 2 junglers, as we talked about Xmithie on the Lee Sin, trying to find one of those offensive looks.
I need Riot next patch to add a... We don't even need all the team flares. We just need #LiveEvil to be one of the pop-ups because Sven will push that on cooldown. It will just be just a text on screen forever.
Banger play.
Yeah, banger tweet or banger play, #LiveEvil, just every time. Just the 2 of them together, you know?
Well, that's it's hard to make banger plays as Trundle, but I've seen a few. You banger pillar, boom, LiveEvil. You just interrupted somebody's dash, boom, LiveEvil.
Yeah, exactly. Into Lee Sin. I feel like he's gonna drop at least one Xmithie Q or W this game, and it's gonna be a banger pillar. That's gonna happen here for this one.
We're setting him up. He better deliver.
Yep. It's Svenskeren. He's probably going to deliver. You know, I feel like he's just got that skill set in him.
Yeah.
Easy early jungling here for the side. It's red to chickens for Xmithie, so not doing the heavy full clear where you go to Krugs and then go around a top side. It looks like it's buff to buff for Svenskeren. He must be bot side instantly to play around this. We can see that Apollo and Hakuho are pushing early on. You might see a Zeyzal, Q flash or something with a Trundle pillar behind it.
Yeah, and the way these matchups go, too, Azir should have some good early wave control, just trying to focus on the minions, trying to push. But I also want to point out, Xmithie also looking for an early level 3 possible gank up towards the pushing Kumo. Allorim has let him soft push into the front of the tower, and Xmithie will go red Raptors blue. That can give you ganking options towards a Volibear. If you want to focus on, all right, we've got the Urgot. He's got great setup when you land your E. It's pretty easy on another melee champion. If you can get up there and gank the Volibear early and set Volibear behind, this is a champion that does rely on the power that it gets early in laning. If you kind of try and attack one of the strengths, that would definitely be viable. But Xmithie, as you see, he's just returning to normal farm. He's going to give up the top crab and all.
Yeah, I think what happened there is he was looking for the ability to go top side, and Allorim probably called out that Kumo shoved the wave, went into fog, which usually means he dropped the trinket in the river. And he's like, okay, my jungle path is not going to lead me to a gank. It's not going to come through this time. Never mind then. So Svenskeren's going to play top side. He's like, look at that pillar. Knocks off the shield. It makes it a lot easier to kill a Scuttle Crab, and going to help make sure that top lane feels safe. The extra vision control until a Blast Plant spawns in 3 minutes or so. No easy gank path for Xmithie. Just going to take his bottom Scuttle here on that side.
And I want to point out what Svenskeren is specifically doing here, spending so much time in this brush. He was not thinking, oh, hey, Kumo, we can gank this Urgot that's 2 inches in front of the tower range. He was sitting here for a counter gank. He was waiting for the obvious Lee Sin move up, into the overextended Volibear, as a good jungler will do. And this is one of the things that I want to bring up when we're looking at top laner stats and top laner CSDs. This lane, more than any other lane, your CSD and your stats for the early game are determined by how well you communicate with your jungler and how well you can control your wave yourself, because it is the easiest lane to get freezes off, especially in the early game. Allorim very close to throwing Kumo under the tower there, but can't quite grab him.
Can't quite get there, but another matchup I want to point out. We had the same one in the previous game. So we got a battle. Nope, we're fine down there. So Kobe, across all 10 players starting in this game, one of them has the highest goal difference at 10. One of them has the lowest goal difference at 10. Which are those two? Spoiler, it's in the top lane.
What'd you say?
Of all 10 players in this game,
top lane?
we have, the highest and lowest goal difference in 10 of these 10 players are both top laners. And it's Allorim, who is last place among the 10, and Kumo, who is first place among the 10. He has been consistently laning excellently, and Allorim he's been on Malphite duty. So, the lane's not always great. This time around, Allorim gets the counterpick, though, gets the Urgot, gets to shove a wave, and can maybe buck that trend.
Yeah, not surprised there. Zia has definitely taken a beating in a lot of the Immortals games, but they still did get that single win. Apollo going to do a good job buffering his E. Arcane Shift as a hook lands, so still goes off, gets in the range.
Nice attempt right there. Wasn't a lot of mana to follow through it, but still could have been some damage with the wave right behind. The long trade would have easily gone Immortals' way. No CC landed, though, so it doesn't really matter. Svenskeren going to play around bottom side. Says, okay, there's no wards down here. Control ward in the Dragon Pit. We don't see Xmithie, though. Mid's being pushed in. Yeah, I can't really go for the Drake here. Let me just not bother. Xmithie's going to... Yep, there's the reveal over the wall. Drake would not have been killed in time. Could have been collapsed. Doesn't go for the play.
Yep, easily we'll be able to take this as well. Oh, he starts it out in vision. So he didn't finish clearing the control ward. They know that they're starting it. Svenskeren is going to go for a gank on the mid laner instead of contesting the objective.
Oh, Shockwave, I think, just didn't quite hit in time. Insanity gets over, and the pillar doesn't stop the pushback either. So a clean escape for the Azir, and the Drake's going to go over easily to Xmithie.
Yeah, and that's a difference in bottom lane recalls. Apollo and Hakuho get the objective first. They want to get the crab. That might be a little bit too much.
A lot of danger here. They catch up Hakuho. Good crowd control. Can jump back, though he should be safe with no problems. A TP used for defense as Kumo arrives as well. So suddenly all 10 players are there. A banger pillar shows up. They get a root. He's slow. Allorim has to jump back. He'll stay safe.
Yeah, he got a pretty good slow there, but Urgot still had the dash. Is able to get right on the outside. We'll have to have another attempt. Honestly, though, again, talking about the recalls, that dragon paid for by a bottom lane recall, a BF sword on Aphelios now, with the continued focus on trying to get the crab. It means that Apollo is going to have to try and push this wave and then use his teleport to get back. Looks like they were able to get it just off of the turret, so he'll be able to do that and get his juicy tier buy plus the pickaxe.
Yeah, this is one of the nice things you get to do when you have Summoner Teleport is you get to greed off of your opponent recalls for an item, right? You know Aphelios wants to power spike on BF Sword at 6 minutes and change. Because, well, we can stay in lane, just go for Drake instead, and then, like, catch the next wave with a, 50 attack damage deficit, but it's okay. I'll just then recall buy and TP back in and not really miss anything. So that is really what you get to buy out of Summoner Teleport is those sort of 3 plays back to back to back. Now he's on equal footing again in this lane, going to feel pretty comfortable.
All right, Allorim does a good job dodging the slow, kiting the E here from Kumo. There's a control ward, so Svenskeren knows that he can get behind Allorim, but you can tell Allorim kind of flirting on the edge there, just in range. And Kumo going to try and keep a decent amount of minions in front of the tower, but because they're going to arrive very quickly, it'll start to burn them down. Jiizuke so low on mana here. Does have Doran's Ring and the tier, so trying to stick around and run on fumes. Blue buff will be handed off to Insanity, and I think the same should be true for Jiizuke. He's got his teleport, though, so he can pull the same trick as Apollo did. Obviously, the difference in those summoner spells emerges if you get an all-in where Bang and Zeyzal, heal, ignite combo becomes a difference. Because they were able to evade the first cooldown usage, though, it didn't really mean anything.
Svenskeren's back on the top side again. Every single time Allorim just kites away from the engaged options of Kumo, gets away from the stun, more or less, gets away from the slow, and he's fine every time. Kumo, farm lead on the top side, even with the extra wave to be killed. Jiizuke getting poked out by Insanity. Farm lead for the Azir, doing really nicely up in that mid lane. So far, so good, as Immortals have a slight gold lead plus the first Drake.
Yeah, I mean, blue buff difference right here. Full mana on Insanity. Svenskeren will be able to smite away the Scuttle Crab, but he's on top side, and Jiizuke's not going to get a blue buff anytime soon. I mean, it's going to have to be a full recall here for Svenskeren before he can go hand that off. Xmithie has always been known as the supportive jungler, and he immediately tries to get the blue buff on spawn to his mid laner, allowing Insanity to continue pushing.
Right now, they know mid lane is, well, Insanity push favored. It's the recall for Jiizuke into the TP back in. Gets the Lost Chapter. He's going to have plenty of mana even without blue buff with those items. And here we get the start on Rift Herald. No worries there for Xmithie. Let it, pull all the way out of the pit. Never jumped all the way in. He can easily run away when needed. Hakuho's already here. They're rolling, not even for champion ganks, but for this as well. A control ward given top side to give him even more safety. Svenskeren shows up, has to flash away instantly as the squad is already there. Shockwave not yet used. Svenskeren burned flash. And there is the pickup on Rift Herald, but the eye not easily picked up. Allorim has to be a bit careful. Cannot get over the wall without burning flash. Has to burn that cooldown now. Ulti for the Nautilus could have been a little bit more. Hakuho in the front lines has to cut him back as well. Still has his summoners, but kites it away, staying alive himself. The eye still going to be sitting on the field, so the only pickup there was 100 gold for killing the Herald, and there is the trinket disabled. There is it timing out, so a good collapse by EG keeps the Herald from being much of anything.
Yeah, honestly, that's one of my favorite mini-games in League of Legends, when one team's able to get the Herald kill, but the other team then protects the eyeball until it despawns. EG playing defense here, do keep them out and trying to chase the rest of them down. A good interrupt there from Zeyzal onto Hakuho, actually forced Hakuho's ultimate too, so as we return bottom lane, there won't be a discrepancy in those support ultimates looking for the kills, and they're going to have to wait for those to come back up before we get the extra action around Dragon. 20 seconds left on said Dragon, and plenty of the control wards have already been laid by EG, but they're not in place to defend them because Svenskeren's up topside doing Krugs before it spawns, so I think both control wards will get cleared out if Insanity gets in there.
Yeah, looks like it. This feels a little Immortals favored. Zeyzal did get some wards down in the pit, but we can see that Trundle's going to be late to the play. The Drake is already alive. If Immortals wanted to collapse right away, they'd probably get it. You can see Jiizuke's far away, Svenskeren's far away. If it was a rush, this would actually be gained by Immortals every single time. Bot laners both on pretty comfortable items. Hook's going to land, but again, Apollo is there for the Arcane Shift backwards. Xmithie now has to deal with all the ward coverage. Goes through the darkness for now. Big chunk on his Zeyzal, puts him at 2/3. Xmithie now reveals himself, looking at the gank, can't find it. Does he go over the wall? Knows where he is with the ward and the sweeper and everything else. Svenskeren, is it time? Will he blast plant? Not with Hakuho and Apollo next to him, so no, it's going to be a pickup for Xmithie, giving both teams a lot of vision coverage around this Drake until the control ward comes down. Xmithie gets to earn some 60 gold for killing wards off.
And both top laners' teleports are coming up pretty shortly here. They're synced up as well, so we might have the explosion pretty soon.
That is flash burned out. Danger onto Apollo. Easy kill. First blood comes through. And Svenskeren's ready for the second one. A flash force out of Xmithie as well. Too aggressive for the Ezreal. Arcane shifted forward and got punished right away for that.
Yeah, him going down. That's got to be full control for EG right now. Bang's still alive, so it looks like they want to start this one up. Teleports again now are available for both top laners. They get shoved off as Jiizuke went back mid. Now Zeyzal's going to get caught. It's a rebuttal.
Burn the stopwatch. Here come the teleports in. Is it going to be enough as we have the Volibear here first? Allorim's now there as well. Is it the play? They got 4 in the exact same spot. That ult was tempting, but it certainly wouldn't have been a kill. So not going to burn the cooldown. Just going to walk right back on that side of the map. Jiizuke easily pushes in mid. Going to deny some waves. Going to maybe earn a plate or so for himself as these teams still contest around the bottom river. That Scuttle Crab kill from 40 seconds ago still paying dividends as EG can do nothing in darkness.
And I like that they actually just let Jiizuke get minions, get turret plates. He's invested all of his early money in mana. Here we go, EG play on the bottom side though. They see Apollo again.
Ulti's going to land for the slow, the stun. The second slow might land as well, but there's no quite enough follow-through. Not going to be too much there. EG going to be okay, but Zeyzal is He's no longer a champion here on this Nautilus. Has to take a recall very soon.
And good job there by Hakuho, stepping in to take the hook. Insanity goes close range with Jiizuke, flashes.
Flash, oh, that was beautiful. I love these two players working together. Those two made great plays. Insanity and Allorim set him up for the alley-oop and knocked down Jiizuke.
Academy LCS at your service here. Allorim and Insanity doing all the Academy players proud, stepping onto the stage here. Look at that communication. And the coordination actually pulled that off. It's one thing to say, all right, I'm scooping him back, flash here, low health on Insanity, but right into the Urgot ultimate. Really well coordinated and accurate here from Allorim. Also leads to the dragon for themselves. Immortals slapping back quickly.
And look at that, Immortals 2 Drakes to 0, equal gold so far. I said I liked this team. I thought this was not a deserving 1-6 record based in this roster. Well, they lost to Cloud9 and Liquid, but they are winning right now. Winning against evil geniuses. We could watch this all again.
And look at the minimap. He's down there by inhibitor turret. Insanity setting up the entire time. He eats the shockwave. Okay, it's fine. Orianna's phase rush is now gone. He flashes first. Even with Jiizuke flashing, he still got him. And Allorim showing his mastery on Urgot. Finds the snipe right into his waiting arms. Just, you love to see it from the newer players on this stage. Once again, IMT, as you're saying, looking to climb out of that bottom part of the standings with their kind of renewed energy.
Been poised to do it. They've beaten every team with losing record they've played so far on this roster. They beat Golden Guardians in their opener and looking to now take down EG, a team with a winning record in their 4th game on this roster. 2-6, kind of 2-2 based on the roster swaps, but again, we'll keep track of that over the course of the split. Insanity, I love how aggressive he's been, by the way. So many times you have a rookie come in, you're like, well, I've got the winningest jungler of all time on my team. You know, we've got Apollo and Hakuho who've done so many good things as well. We're going to sit around and you tell me what to do. He's like, no. Me and Allorim, we're taking this 2v1. I'm going to flash ult this guy. Don't worry, I got it. Yep, does it. It's really good to see him play with aggression, with confidence, and it's paying off.
Ooh, gonna get bit.
Yep, good kick away. That pillar sadly did not stop any of the move blocks, and Xmithie's going to feel reasonably comfortable. Puts down the smite, but it's the red smite. Doesn't do a whole lot. Ward hops away, stays alive. Does Kumo want in? There's a reveal. Flashes in for the stun and takes a bite out of crime. Evil geniuses again. Finding the ways some way back into this game.
Banger play, Svenskeren. Live evil. You wait in the bush. He's got phase rush. You chase him down. Insanity does get hit with another shockwave, but it's going to slide out.
Summon or heal for the move speed. They've got the follow through. Hakuho wanted a flash to get the shield. Wanted the summon heal to keep him alive. It couldn't get there in time to keep him alive. Evil Geniuses are right back into the map. 2 kills picked up. The turret about to fall as well. EG have cracked open this game in the mid game.
Credit to Bang for really committing to that. He spends flash and heal for Aphelios offensively. This is one of the marksmen with the lowest defensive capabilities in the whole game, and he's just out here running people down. Flashes, heals to get in range, chases down Insanity, makes good on the kill, makes good on the tower for EG, and Apollo trying to answer bottom.
They're going to get some damage down there. Of course, no more plates to pick up, but it is some damage all the same. Kumo going to try to clear out of the turret, but keep in mind his health bar is a bit low. Goes for a plate. Turret's going to drop him one auto, and now he's got to be respectful if he's knocked up into the air. And how do you escape these two together? Thankfully, Hakuho does not burn the ultimate. Could have gotten another 2 seconds of crowd control there, but not enough damage. So end of the day, Kumo gets to still just take the reset and get back on the map. But in the meantime, top is under fire. The Herald was summoned. A lot of damage early on. That was a great pillar. It did interrupt Allorim that time around. Herald will die, but that turret dropped very low. Bang not willing to go the rest of the way down, but Allorim down to 1/4.
Yeah, I believe he just ran out of ammo for the extra range Calibrum. No sniper rifle left, so no easy shots onto the turret. Insanity is going to get some damage and knock back onto Zeyzal.
Yeah, that's big damage there. Zeyzal does have flash, doesn't burn it. Wait, he burns it at 5 HP. Zeyzal loses the cooldown for nothing. He still goes down, and we still see Insanity be the only one to make plays that have gotten Immortals kills this game.
Yeah, that's definitely a thinking emoji for Zeyzal there. you were in the process of complimenting him for not using the flash after realizing he's dead.
Yeah.
And then it happens.
And then did.
Yeah. You gotta,
it happens.
Especially if you're gonna use it, gotta use it to dodge the initial Azir sec. Insanity gets right back up. You know, he got chased down under his tower, still makes the offensive play, still looking for opportunities for Immortals. EG hold on to their 1,000 gold lead though, and the extra turret means most of that.
Okay, so 1,000 gold to work back, certainly doable. Evil Genius is comfortably ahead in terms of gold. Immortals though, Drake number 3 is on the field, and Ocean Soul cures all ills, really, in League of Legends. As Hakuho gets some poke and runs away, EG are first to the play. They are getting rid of the wards, and they are creating fog everywhere for Immortals. It's going to be hard for them to fight back for this one. Might have to just bleed the Drake and give it away. As top laners are fighting back and forth, TP's up for both sides. They need to join that fight. It looks like there was none to be had. It's a farm lead for Allorim. The Drake is now alive. Xmithie wants to be nearby. But will there actually be a play? 2-level lead for the Urgot. I feel like they actually need to get him over there then if they want to fight for the Drake. He's so much of their power right now. The Drake is taking damage. Hakuho has to kind of come around and try to find vision. This is going to get dropped dangerously low, and Svenskeren easily grabs the dragon, as now Evil Geniuses are on the board in terms of neutral objectives.
I like that term, Freak. You know, creating fog. The fog machine really doing work for Evil Geniuses there. Bring in the control wards, all of them just start spitting out the fog. They cover the dragon in darkness and will put a stop to the hopes of an early soul for Immortals.
I want to use that more now. Calling players a fog machine. I like that. It was unintentional, but now that you said you like it, I like it a whole lot more.
Original.
That's just how things work. Yeah.
Another thing, it is a little bit questionable for the top side. Allorim is going to ping-pong a little bit of these minion waves. You see Kumo just barely pinged his level 12. That's going to be more than a full level lead still holding over for Allorim. And he did assist in that kill in mid lane, helping out a lot with the Urgot ultimate. But I'm excited to see him in team fights because Urgot is so rarely seen. We should talk about some of the strengths here. Because it's so good to rush cooldown reduction on it, the Black Cleaver is just one of his favorite items of all time. And you can just shred for the rest of your team. It really does help out Apollo for shredding the front line. You can see how easy it synergizes here. When you have the machine gun procking it over and over on Kumo, just shreds right through the Volibear, even though he's got Ninja Tabby and the Bramble Vest. It's just, it's such a big one-item power spike that Allorim is very well accustomed to abusing. And then from there, my favorite item, the Death
Dance.
You move into the 1v9 mode, get your Death Dance, and you try and lifesteal tank through those team fights.
And look at this, Allorim, 40 CS lead now, 20 minutes in. He's going to feel real comfortable. We saw the ult for ult a second ago, but look at the cooldown difference. Just look between the two top laners. Allorim is about twice as fast on that cooldown recovery, so maybe more plays to happen pretty soon. As Svenskeren is pushed away, doesn't have to burn too much though. Phase rushes and gets out. They're under only a little bit of pressure. Top lane going to crash into the turret, going to be collected there by Kumo. And now we'll see what the next play can be as the recalls come off and items join the inventories. 1,200 gold lead in the top lane.
Allorim really doing work, showing what he can do off of the Malphite. And definitely going a long way to correcting your top laner gold stats for the early game too. Insanity, meanwhile, will put up the Azir turret before getting the recall off. And we've got plenty of time before the Ocean Drake. So if you get a pick, it does have to come for fighting over some of the vision in the river right now. And you are looking, as Xmithie and Hakuho, at, specifically for me, the Azir. If they can burn Bang's cooldowns before this dragon in the next 2 minutes, that will go so far in setting up their 5v5, because then you have the threat of Insanity Azir sec on the backline. And Aphelios is always my #1 main target. Bang is one of the biggest and most important carries for this team. Ooh. He does whiff an ult there, but you gotta brush those off.
You gotta brush those off. They tried to shoot from the brush and it was off. So that just happened there. Is EG gonna cut away?
You know what? I don't roll with a lot of your puns and wordplay, Freak, but that was off the top of the dome, so you get extra credit.
Banger pun, hashtag live evil.
Banger all pun, right. Freak, hashtag live evil. Nice Aphelios zone. Bang, hashtag live evil.
Well, we got some fights with the Scuttle Crab. Akko gets the assist there. Xmithie claims that one with the resonating strike. And we once again look at the game state. It is a 600 gold difference, with the favor being to Evil Geniuses and a 1 Drake advantage to Immortals. Still a very close mid-game here, and we'll see what we can get now as we crest into the 23, 24-minute mark. It's Svenskeren walking forward into the river. Next Drake spawns in just a minute's time. And with Jiizuke there, they're trying to push Immortals back. Red will be handed over if they can. Up he goes. There you go. Apollo grabs the red buff. He's got that in time for the Drake fight. That might be very important down here.
Yeah, Ezreal with red buff. Classic match made in heaven, even though he always has to slow now with the Iceborne Gauntlet. Extra burn goes a super long way with the poke. I would say biggest power spike though, Jiizuke's death cap. He's got Seraph's death cap on Orianna for this fight. So you do have to respect the Orianna shockwave. Meanwhile, we did have another Azir skipping the mana items, and I really like how Insanity here does have Nashers plus the Leandries for possible poke damage and burn as well. If you can get Azir poke and red buff Ezreal poke down before this, that is ideal scenario for Immortals. So I think they force EG to commit to the dragon, just try and poke them as much as you possibly can before it, while keeping your eye on the Orianna ball, and that's their recipe for success.
Crucially for Immortals, they've got that Scuttle still dead for about 10 more seconds, so the Drake plays are at least trackable as it gets pulled out. This might be the attempt forward now. Xmithie gets over the wall, shouldn't be seen, so he can go for a steal. Lands the Q, goes in, smite, no, it's going to go to Bang. And the fight begins. Xmithie's going to drop down 1 for 0. Hakuho locks up a ton, but not enough damage as Evil Geniuses now have the numbers lead. Allorim is on the run. He's going to try to kite away. Svenskeren going to have a new pillar pretty soon. Gets chunked to half. He's got to be respectful of what Urgot can do with the ulti. The 1 for 0. The Drake picked up. EG take that victory.
Pretty even setup there, but EG just clean house. I mean, being able to get the splash damage there, Xmithie goes in, can't get the smite. Aphelios, I believe, is the one who got credit for that, getting the dragon. #2 now for EG, but also they didn't really get a lot of poke done. Apollo throws out a Mystic Shot here. Jiizuke just kind of sidesteps it. It looks like they're worried about the engage, so it's just a straight up smite fight. And then you see on your screen, Zeyzal marks the Rakan, and I really like this from Zeyzal because he's tankier as the Nautilus. If you hook the Rakan, then you auto the Rakan, you just lock him down. You take away any of the surprise, any of the initiation for Immortals, and they don't really get a start as far as, you know, fighting through health bars in that fight. And Xmithie just has to go in for the straight up steal in the middle of 5 EG members and gets burned down.
It's going to look pretty good now. Evil Geniuses have jumped up to a 1,200 gold lead again. They've tied the Drake count, and it feels like they've been in control. The one matchup that feels really Immortals' favorite is the top lane one. It's Allorim being heavily ahead of Kumo. Again, back to a 2-level lead. Obviously, the gold difference probably remains about 1,500 between the two, as the CSD is still at 40. But if he's not getting his impact in these fights, if he's not running around killing things off, then it's not going to matter. Just wave control is not enough. Now it goes for the play. This is what we are looking for. Big damage on Kumo. Ult for ult means he never gets the execute, though. As long as he holds that cooldown, it's never going to matter. And this time around, just jukes it. The cooldown was actually missing. Kumo could not have immune it this time around, but just barely to the side. He jukes away from the shot that could have been the kill.
Meanwhile, in the mid lane, playing a little footsie here over the control wards and brush, and EG do get to bully out. But even though he shot off the ultimate, doesn't find it, Allorim gets up to the tower, gets some damage on it. Now they're making a roam down bottom. Can they cut him off? Run, crab, run. Scuttle away.
Not the fastest. Yeah, gets out of there, no big problem. Gets to live through this one, and yes, gets the turret half HP, gets Kumo a little bit low, but end of the day, other than slightly growing a CS lead, and even that's kind of questionable, it hasn't yet manifested that lead anymore. Nearly kills. Ooh, wow, that was close. The shot from the next time. Xmithie just gets away with a very, very timely ward hop back into the pit. Denies a trinket. That's something, I guess, but still going to stay alive as Evil Geniuses continue their pressure. Looking at something else to do. A pillar. Going to slow down Xmithie. I'm not going to get anything else out of that one, though.
Is that a banger pillar? Is that a hashtag live evil, or is that just
actually
walk away from that one?
Yeah, he gets to just walk. You know, I feel like we're gonna get one though. I'm still waiting. There's gonna be one. It's just not there yet.
Part of the charm of the live evil spam though is that he says it about everything.
Okay,
so I feel like maybe even do it on that one.
Banger pillar right there as he's knocked into the air, but Xmithie can't join the fight. So Hakuho just kind of takes his licks, walks away. A recall stopped by Apollo. His mana is a little bit low. Going to lower his damage output there as Zeyzal still kills off the trinket ward.
And again, the more exciting story is the side lane. Allorim, boom, working away on the turret. He's almost done. Kumo tries to stop him.
Gets the kill on the turret, has the everything alive once again, 2-level lead. And this is Kumo burning the ult, has to flash away from Allorim's. Yeah, this is getting a bit brutal. Top difference is happening in this game.
And it comes from Academy. I love it. Allorim really showing up. Level 16 too. Now he's got the level 3 ulti. Immortals, he's taken away the jungle. I feel like it has just been, you know, such a good showing ever since they were able to swap over. You mentioned at the beginning that their losses since swapping have come from those top teams of Team Liquid and Cloud9 at the top of the standings. So with the new squad here, definitely making them work for it. EG still hold the gold lead, still have that 1,000 gold lead. But the towers have been evened up, so both teams have the options of going for the deeper invades.
Alrighty, so let's take a quick perspective at the EG point of view. Okay, so top lane's in a bad spot. Your bleeding turret's down there. Bot tier 2 is gone. Top's probably going to be attacked pretty soon as you can swap from top side, use the teleport to play around Drake. No big problem down there. But EG absolutely have good team fighting. Jiizuke is rich. Bang is rich. They have easy backline damage, and honestly, your tanks being behind in gold is not the worst thing ever. They're once again playing around this side of the map. The bottom jungle is theirs, the camps are theirs, the wards are theirs. Drake number 3 likely to be theirs as well, as Svenskeren is going to kite back, and Jiizuke runs right in towards Apollo, forcing an arcane shift out. There's an engaged potential. They're going to find the roots there. This could be enough to kill Allorim. He's going to lose Guardian Angel. A shockwave comes in and finds Hakuho. No trade damage yet for Apollo. This could be Allorim going down. 100 health left onto him, and he's going to burn down. Kumo finds that kill. Xmithie's over the wall to find nothing else. Now 5v4. EG take control of the map.
We cursed him, freak! No! Allorim goes down. Raid boss down. EG will take over. They're going to get another Ocean Drake for themselves. Immortals trying to get something back out of it by pushing towards mid. They don't have Xmithie by the dragon, though, and it's burning down so quickly, I doubt he gets there in time to steal it. Apollo's been known to snipe some of those objectives, but did not have the ult cooldown quite back up for it.
Alrighty, Pillar forces out the Arcane Shift from Apollo. They both press E, and out they go. Gold difference, 2,000, 1.5, roughly around there. But we are poised for Ocean Soul. At 35 minutes, EG can fight for their 4th and final Ocean Drake. And that's going to make team fighting very difficult for Immortals. They got to find healing reduction somewhere on those kits, and no one's even close to those items yet.
And again, we're trying to look at the setup a little bit more closely with the support specifically. Both of them are going to be the first line of initiation for their teams. Never mind, Kumo has 3 people charging him.
Finds almost a slow, uses it to scout out and look for Apollo. Can't quite get that one. That pillar, that was nice towards Insanity. Just jumps up the wall, though, has the soldiers to set that one up. EG still playing very aggressively. Look at how much they are owning the opposing jungle. They took chickens, they took the Drake, they're stealing away the blue buff. Evil Geniuses feel like they have the run of the map.
Well, they certainly have the run of the top side. Look at this vision toggle. I really like this from the observers. Thank you so much for showing the lead up to the Baron. EG have stamped EG all over this jungle. This is their territory now. Multiple control wards, multiple trinket wards leading up to the Baron. And they have such a good team for playing through chokes. It will make a big difference if you have Orianna ball in these small corridors. You just keep that there and you kind of block off all these entrances into the Baron area. Level 18 now for Jiizuke, and he is ready.
Alrighty, Evil Geniuses putting a map, get up at the top side of the map, saying, yes, this is ours, this is all of our territory. We would like to set up for Baron before too terribly long. As mid lane goes back and forth yet again. Hakuho forced to kite away. Jiizuke very, very durable with those shields. And looking at the next potential shockwave, Xmithie would have had to burn Flash. Doesn't have to here, though, and it's going to be just fine as they walk away. But again, Evil Geniuses get to knock down the wards and get to play our map, our side, top side. Shirellia's popped, though. Is this a play? He's going to charm, he's going to flash, he's going to find the knockup. Is this the kill? It's going to be a shotgun to Xmithie before he can do anything. Zeyzal on the front side just forces Allorim to back up. Insanity is in danger. He ults to buy some space. Flashes away as Kumo wants in. Level 16 of the Volibear and now has to run back away, but tanks long enough to not be killed. Apollo gets away there as well. Allorim wants in onto one, and there's the pullback. That's going to be a fear. That's going to be him running away. So now 4v4 on the map, I do believe, feels comfortable enough as Hook comes in again. This is dangerous, and Allorim is going to go down. Bang wants one more. A single auto attack would kill Insanity. It's going to force Apollo to flash away, though, and map control once again belongs to Evil Geniuses.
Yep, and are they going to go straight for the Baron here? Insanity does have teleport, Apollo has teleport, so the carries can recall for Immortals. They have an option of trying to fight. Xmithie has revived, so I think they should contest it. EG trying to bait.
They're playing Fog. Hakuho knows, and look at that. As soon as the sweeper spots, he's like, yep, over the wall I go. No play to be had. I like the intelligence there for Hakuho. He was in a brush the whole time, so they didn't even know he was coming through like that. Didn't know they were spotted. Good plays by Hakuho to make sure that Baron doesn't go over.
Yeah, it's so difficult to check those choke points. Going through these small windows, Apollo and Hakuho are the ones with all vision checking tools. If you sneak Apollo or Hakuho in here, he can just jump right back out, use the sweeper, a little bit of vision, and is safely able to check it. Here he goes, over the wall, gets the engage, double knockup, but boom, Jiizuke getting that shockwave is the game changer for EG. And then they try and chase him down. Allorim on your side, on the bottom there, does get a decent amount of damage. He gets the counter kill, but the rest of the team chased off, so there's nobody to follow up. Ultimate, boom, into the fear, and Hakuho tries to get the knockup to save him, but a banger pillar from Svenskeren will allow EG to flash forward. Bang is on the rampage. Once again, he flash heals forward into the fights to pick up extra kills.
Yeah, they live evil, they die immortals. Here is the gold lead once again. 3,000, it's been growing in Evil Geniuses. They are 40 seconds from Ocean Soul. Doesn't guarantee the win. We've seen plenty loss with that one, but it still feels like EG are the better playing team. All these team fights have gone their way. They're getting more done. And as the final recalls come through, we're 30 seconds away from that objective. EG going to push in mid first. Immortals going to play around it. Pillar comes down. Allorim's going to be safe.
Okay, looks like they're trying to split the squad. Frontline needs to stay in front of Bang.
Finds a slow, finds a knockup. Big damage there. They've nearly cut off Svenskeren. He's one hit away. Kumo's forced back as well. Shockwave on a 2, and Allorim finds the first shutdown. Now going for Jiizuke. That could be an easy one as well. The kick is there, and Xmithie gets a second kill. And just like that, Immortals fire back. He will not chase in for more. 2 kills are enough. The Drake is easy, and they could maybe even go for Baron afterwards. 40 seconds on the respawn. That is a chance to play for both objectives.
Yeah, they got to burn it down here. The rest of Immortals are holding the mid wave. Looks like they want to try and push that one more time before sliding over. But even though the solo laners are the ones that died, they don't have teleports. So bringing up the Baron, definitely a viable option as Upon revival, both EG solo laners have to walk over there, and we'll see if Immortals can burn it down, or are they going to go for the bait. Svenskeren, Bang, and Zeyzal, 3v5.
Insanity has ulti, Allorim does too, so the re-engage is potentially there. Svenskeren has Smite and Flash. That chance is in there. 1 level lead for Xmithie. He has the kick as well. If they play it right, Immortals can guarantee it, but it's all about how well Svenskeren plays it. The pillar keeps the team from collapsing. They're sitting around at 3,000 health, and they are unwilling to take the play, unwilling to fight the 4v3, where they get a kill every time, but they don't want to coin flip the Baron away.
Whew, yeah, I mean, they have Xmithie, who's very good at landing smites and known for comboing those, but it's hard to keep Svenskeren out of the pit from them, and they don't want to even chance the possibility of a smite steal there. Let's take a look at this team fight, though, because this was really, really well played. You see the initial engage, Charm into double knockup, into Ezreal ultimate, takes the front line of EG completely out of the fight, which allows the rest of Immortals to just charge forward. Even though Zeyzal does get the combo onto Insanity, they just stand and fight him off. And then Allorim plus Xmithie on the top side finish up the kills onto Jiizuke.
Raid boss Urgot has control wards in his last spot. He is huge, he's level 18, and he is ready to keep taking over these games. 3-2-1 his score line. 400 CS though for an Aphelios on 4 major items as well is similarly a very big threat. Similar growth here for Jiizuke, also on 4 big ones. We'll see how this is going to play out as, again, the waves are cleared back and forth. EG playing with Fog as Immortals are hiding up in that top river. Svenskeren chunked down to 3/4, but comfortable enough. You can always ult in the team fight and get his stats back.
All right, once again, they're trying to push the mid wave, but cut off by Immortals. They're just trading the minion waves here, and Kumo does get some damage onto Xmithie, but they've got the supports as the main initiators, and Zeyzal's looking forward towards the lane. They got a cannon through.
They got a cannon, which means they can easily kill mid lane tier 2. No problem at all. That wave fight was crucial because it gave even more mid lane control. This is going to be a little dangerous. I assume an Azir turret can be summoned by Insanity. Jumps over it. There's the turret. Goes for the play there. So now this is going to force EG to run through the jungle to make their plays, and Immortals can easily clear with a mid lane wave. That gives them, if they want to rush it, about 10 seconds to look at Baron and force another awkward play out of Evil Geniuses. You can see they get some damage down, but the flank is caught. Xmithie goes down. The team was nowhere near him. Half the team went to the top river, and now this is dangerous. Evil Geniuses suddenly get control back.
Huge pick for EG. All right, got to be a rotation over towards the Baron. Clear out these control wards on the way. They can try and bait. No smite available for Immortals. They have to look for the team fight instead.
And they're going to have to try their very best. Shockwave not quite going to land Allorim, just barely slinks away. 4v5, no jungler, makes stopping Baron difficult. There is vision in the pit, and now that vision is gone. Immortals know they have about 25 seconds till Xmithie can be part of this Baron attempt. Baron would die if they're not stopped. They go towards Zeyzal, but he's just kind of kiting the team away. Blast cones out, some CC for Hakuho, comes back to the team. Bang is at half, still healthy though. This is enough though to stop the Baron play. It resets, and this was a well-played stop. Immortals played the 4v5 out to stop the Baron play and are back on the map.
Yeah, objective complete for Immortals there. Not only do they stop them on Baron, but they finally win the battle over the mid lane wave that we have been fighting for the last 5 minutes here, Freak. The tower goes down. The crowd goes wild.
Wow, finally getting that one down. EG got tier 1 and tier 2. Finally answered back. Immortals get tier 1, and now look at the top left of the screen. Ocean Drake in 55 seconds. Look at the top middle. Both teams have 3 Drakes. This is Ocean Soul in 50 seconds. But EG say that's in 50 seconds. Baron is now. We can go right back onto the pit, clear the ward, and set up a bait. Immortals once again have to play around this.
So intense with so many of these vision plays. Once again, observers plunging us into darkness. There's the pick.
Hook in. Allorim gets Trundle ulted as well. Has to kite backwards. They're going to stay alive though, and they're going to weather that first ulti. That is now 1 major cooldown missing as they wait for the re-engage and the second chance at it. 20 seconds in Ocean Drake. Watch out for the Shockwave. Watch out for Bang's crowd control. Ulti's going to miss from Aphelios, but there could still be followed through the pillar. Buys a bit of space, but not quite enough. Insanity's going to be safe here as well. The mana pool down to 1/3 though on this Azir without any mana items. Has to be respectful of that mana pool. easily grabs this Scuttle Crab. EG get that one yet again, and now the Drake is alive. Ocean Soul is on the table. Allorim, does he find the way in? There's a blast going, and once again, EG bring their bot lane to safety. But now the river being controlled a little bit by Immortals there. Some poke towards Svenskeren. The ulti not back yet for the Trundle, and where's the front line? Apollo looks for some poke, can't find it just yet. But when does the engage come through? Insanity must conserve, again, his mana pool. He's fairly low on this one. Can go for the play. Svenskeren puts up the pillar. 5,000 now, 4th with health left on the Drake. When does Smite Fight come through? When does it happen? Kumo in the front line. 1,800. Who's going to grab it? Picked up there by Jiizuke, and here comes the team fight. 1-0 in the favor of Immortals. How about number 2 as Zeyzal's in the front line? Bang, pushed away. Doesn't quite go down. Apollo forces the kite back, but they're going to find Zeyzal as well. Immortals get a 2 for nothing. Kumo does have flash, and he's going to have to burn it. Gets away from this one. But they're going to get away from the shockwave. It's 5v3 on the map. One team got Ocean Soul, but Immortals, Baron should be theirs.
Yeah, it's got to be. I mean, EG do pick up the Ocean Soul, as you say. They can try and regenerate by attacking things, but they still are only going to have 3 members. Teleport is available for Kumo. Doesn't look like there's really any chance of a steal. There's no super long-range ability they can throw at it, and Svenskeren is dead. So Immortals will get the Baron. They will have this power play, and they will have to fight through an Ocean Soul. Now, I don't see a lot of healing cutting. Maybe they have enough money to quickly buy an Executioners on someone, but let's take another look at the fight itself. And as you said, it was Jiizuke with the extra bit of damage on Orianna. He already placed the ball there, so it's probably a W from him, but Xmithie goes in, tries to do the smite combo with Lee Sin, and they just barely got it with that W. I wanted to say, though, I was watching Apollo for a lot of this fight. He jumps over the wall, he plays it super aggressively. You see him chase both of the carries of EG off back around behind the Dragon Pit there. Really getting a lot out of the mobility of Ezreal.
Yeah, it's a nice job right there. So Immortals swing the game back to a gold lead for the first time in a while into this game, and they have this Baron power play. 2 minutes to go for this one. As you mentioned, Ocean Soul is on for the rest of the game. That is the uphill battle that Immortals must deal with. These fights have been grindy. No heal. Sorry, Ezreal has it now. Mortal Reminder came through on Apollo, so he's going to feel comfortable, and mid lane tier 2 will drop. Still 2 minutes left of the power play, means they can go for more. Bot lane push into the inhibitor. The tier 2 was killed a while ago by Allorim split push. He's level capped and only has half an item left to go till his growth is done. Mid lane pressure, not too terribly much. Double cannons help a little bit, but it's not doing the most as it is very slow going. Down to 1 minute 30 left on the Baron buff as Svenskeren front lines goes to knock down these minions as best he can, and Allorim keep trying on the bottom side. Has a battle with Kumo. Decent amount of CC back and forth. Hakuho and Xmithie could look for the play, but no real crumple to be had. Mid lane turret down to about 1/3. It's still being chipped down. Insanity can feel just comfortable enough, and they're going to keep going for this one. Kumo and Allorim again trading blows back and forth, and now this actually might be a real play as EG push in. They fight for the wave aggressively.
Yeah, they're trying to take down these cannons that have been just wearing away at the inhibitor towers. Mid lane hurting a bit more than bottom lane. Apollo and Insanity are both in mid lane right now, trying to throw a poke at Jiizuke to pop the shield, but they're unable to get much of it done. And the cannon minion itself, a few more shots on the turret. It's below that last little percentage mark, so looks like it won't regen too much. And they still have another minion wave to work with, 40 more seconds on the Baron buff.
That should be enough to knock down an inhibitor turret. We're going to see a quick recall out of, I think that was Hakuho going back to base. Now, he doesn't have summoner TP, so it looks like they're going to give up the last 25 seconds of Baron buff. They said, you know what? We found our last item spikes. We're going to buy those instead, and we're going to reset onto the map and just simply play this out with items. Make sure we can take the jungle camps, make sure we can get the gold and XP coming in. You've got level 18 on 3 different members of Immortals, all the big farming roles. Evil Geniuses in the same boat. Junglers and support still to gain some XP.
Okay, now it's Ocean Soul power should start to kind of overwhelm, I feel like. It should be EG going much more even-handed here versus Immortals. But again, it comes down to so much, of the setup. The Guardian Angel is another really big cooldown that's back and available for Immortals, for Allorim specifically. And this is full item Urgot. Can go right into the thick of things to play the front line for them. These late game team fights, 45 plus minutes, Freak. These are so intense. The communication, I know from experience listening to these LCS teams, when you get 45 plus minutes just becomes so rapid with these intense decisions over trading the objectives. As you said, Elder Dragon, here it comes. 1 minute 35 seconds, and the setup is being done.
All right, items, full builds done on several players here. Bang is done. Insanity is done. Allorim is done. They are as powerful as they will be in this game. This is their moment to make the difference here. Elder Dragon is 1 minute and 15 seconds away. Ocean Soul is good, but you absolutely slaughter that if you have Elder Dragon. The burn is way too good. The execution, obviously great as well. And Immortals still have some map control. They get a blue buff steal. Look at these wards. We just had 5 on our screen at the same time. 1 is traded back as EG sweeps down the mid lane. They can fight for some control, but Immortals it feels like they think they have this one. It feels like they think they're the stronger team. Svenskeren gets chunked a bit low. Doesn't burn the ulti just yet, but Zeyzal gets pushed back. Xmithie, they're going to go for the play. The knockups are around. Do they have the kills they need? Svenskeren is kicked back. He's trying to regen, and they will kill him off. A 1-for-0. The damage explosion not enough from Aphelios, and suddenly 5v4. No jungler to steal Elder Dragon.
What a perfect pick for Immortals. The jungler is down, and EG now have to be the scrappy ones. Can they get in here? The tables have turned. Zeyzal.
I mean, this is still a 5v4. Immortals, they still have Insanity's ulti. They could go for the big flash play if they really wanted to secure this one. They are the stronger team numbers-wise. They have more on the map. Zeyzal almost face checks into Allorim. Immortals should definitely get Elder Dragon, and from there, push into the base, knocking down inhibitors, knocking down team fights. We'll see. It's alive now. This is the timer. Svenskeren alive in 15 with a 10-second walk so that he can be relevant. This needs to be the time. Immortals must start doing this damage, and they must play the 5v4 well. Insanity and Xmithie hitting the fight. Now it's Allorim forced to flash away as some damage comes through. They still must stay on the Elder. How about a shockwave? Is it stealable? It's going to come through to Xmithie. No big problem. And Jiizuke flashed just to try, but now it is a new 5v4 for a full minute to go for the base.
And they've got Elder Dragon Freak. That has got to be it. It has got to be Immortals marching for their second victory in the summer split of the LCS. Charging through. Svenskeren under attack again.
Kick into the wall. There's the kill picked up already. Hakuho's got to be careful. He's CC'd. They might kill him off, and they will. However, it's still a 4v3 for this one. Kumo forced to kite away. The inhibitor is down. They've still got a wave. 35 seconds on the mid laner. This is an absolute 4v3. Insanity can take the recall, can TP back to the minion. This fight can go yet again. This is Immortals' time to win this game, to pick up the second win on this roster and be 2-2, taking down their first winning record team. It's looking likely here as Xmithie is waiting for the next big play. Pick is up soon. Zeyzal front line. There's the dive. It's time for the executes. Bang is so dangerously low, but he finds one. They found a second. All these years they've been trying to find the kills. Bang finally goes down, but Allorim is left alone. He's in a 1v2 inside the base, and Immortals have to wait even longer to find their way back in. Can he drain Tank against 3? It seems unlikely. Shockwave, some jumps, a summoner TP into the mid lane. They're ready to go right now as the Guardian Angel keeps the kill from going through. Just barely Zeyzal will live. Allorim can only do so much. Tries to kite through. Mid is under fire. And look at the respawn timers. 30 seconds on almost everyone. Hakuho, as a support, can try to clear the minions. That's going to be slow going. Kumo's going to knock down the turret. The inhibitor is next, and it's still 20 seconds on the respawns.
What? Freak! I can't believe it! With the Elder Dragon, Immortals over dive. Okay, 15 seconds left on Apollo. Can Hakuho buy the time? All of EG are rushing towards the Nexus turrets. 9 seconds on Apollo.
Now, if they can come up alive in time, it is a 5v4. Hakuho buys a few more seconds. Dissonance not going to land just yet. Here comes the rest of the team. The turrets are gone. Can they rush down the Nexus? A banger pillar keeps them away. Damage out of the Nexus itself, but it's not going down that quickly. Jiizuke needs one more auto, and Evil Geniuses will take down Immortals.
They did it, Freak! I can already predict the Svenskeren tweet. Banger dive, Immortals. Hashtag live evil. They get the victory. I could not believe with the Elder Dragon how they lose. They overdive at the Nexus turrets. EG make the run back.
Yeah. Orianna Aphelios. They had so much damage concentrated at all the same time. You have to watch the particles again in slow motion to see it all. Just enough damage to stop it through. I can't hate on the attempt at the dive. You can't let Aphelios sit there and lifesteal tank with Hurricane. You got to go for something big, but it was not enough. My heart breaks for Immortals. Evil Geniuses, well, they made it in the end. A really, really tight game, but it does mean EG improved to 5-3, and they are going to be sitting there in 4th place as a result. Now, that does it for us. Riv will meet you back here after the break for a Verizon post-game interview, so don't go anywhere.
Hello and welcome back to the Verizon post-game interview. I am joined by Evil Geniuses Svenskeren after their win over Immortals. Sven, I just saw you using the phone. Were you doing a banger tweet?
Yeah, of course. You know me.
Perfect.
Hashtag
Perfect. You have to get those in. But we haven't been able to speak to you for a while, so just overall, how you doing to start things off?
I'm doing pretty good. I think we've been improving a lot since Spring Split to Summer Split, and we've just been taking practices really serious. And I think that game didn't really show how much we improved, but it was still a fun game.
Awesome. And obviously you're saying live evil, but that game was living on the edge a little bit. Can you walk me through how you guys thought that went and how you were able to pull out the win?
Yeah, so I think going into the game, we kind of thought we were going to be able to kill the Urgot really easily. Like, that's kind of what we wanted to do, but in the game, it seemed like he was kind of unkillable, and Azir and Ezreal were just, I don't know, keep poking us, I guess, so we couldn't really do much. So, yeah, it was kind of a miracle that Bang were able to just 1v9 the 200 years at the end of the game, and we were able to win.
Maybe fitting Urgot into that evil repertoire soon here. Just a quick question about that. Have you been impressed at all by the Academy players kind of stepping up and able to show up on the stage? Is it taking you by surprise any?
Yeah, I think there's a bunch of good academy players. IMT as well for sure. Like I think Allorim and Insanity are pretty talented, and Allorim he just plays all these really annoying champions. So it's really they're just annoying to play against, I guess. But yeah, I think there's a lot of good academy talent.
Absolutely. And speaking about players, you got to go up against Xmithie once again this game. What's it like playing against Jake all the time? You have to follow his pathing. You have to make sure he's not tracking you 100% of the time. What's it about?
Yeah, so playing against Xmithie is always interesting because obviously we have a lot of history. And I mean, he kind of took me down a lot last year. So it feels good being finally able to take him down. But I feel like it's kind of just a team gap this time around. So yeah. I'm happy about that.
Right on. Final question. It is a week from now or 2 weeks away, looking at Cloud9. How are you feeling about that matchup, that rematch, I should say, as you be going up against them? Most likely undefeated once again. Do you think you can tarnish that record?
Yeah, going up against Cloud9 is always fun experience because they're just so much better than all the other teams in the league. So I think it's always like, even if we lose, like we're just going to try our hardest and see how much we can push them. So, yeah, I just hope we can push them to their limits.
Awesome. Svenskeren, thank you so much for joining me. All right, now we are going to take the time to throw it over to the Bud Light Breakdown and see what today was all about.
Thank you very much, Riv. Today was all about banger games, left and right.
Bangers.
Bangers. You heard it here first. I mean, I just don't know how it keeps happening, my dudes. Help me understand this. Immortals was so close, and this is 2 games this weekend where it feels like they're autos away, one mechanical play away from taking the game.
I mean, I appreciate them, like, pushing the envelope. Like, I know there's going to be a lot of people who rewatch that game and be like, oh, look, they had bot inhib, they had free Baron, they could have done a lot. But they had a lead, they had a big numbers advantage, and they went for the game-ending play, and they're this close. I think that's a good look, and I hope the players don't get discouraged with that kind of, like, closing mentality.
It's a great look. We were talking about EG as the second best team just last week, and all of a sudden this roster that just came into the LCS is taking Team Liquid and taking EG to these kinds of games. I don't think you could ask for more. Like, yes, it's not going to be the most winning record since they didn't even start with their own record, but the games they played, and especially Allorim and the Urgot, I thought was really impressive.
Yeah, they're not even playing like the most meta standard comps, like super easy. I know earlier in the week they played the Malphite Orianna, but now they're playing like Azir, Urgot. Like these are more intricate to perform compositions, but they're at the Drakes to contest. They were playing team fights pretty well, and the Allorim specifically, I want to give him a shout out. He played amazingly. This was his counter pick into Volibear. It looked really great. At one point, he's like taking tier 2 turret in front of Volibear's face, and there wasn't much to do. So this was a really good fight by Immortals, but you know, Evil Geniuses, they definitely came out on top. They did have a strong comp as well, and yeah, eventually Aphelios gets pretty obnoxious, even though he's at 1 HP.
Oh, look at the track the health here and the healing, everyone at home, all right? Just above 25% there, and a 930-plus heal comes through on the Aphelios to keep him alive. He'll still go down in this fight to Allorim, which is what's so incredible about it, but Immortals taking the stab at the win. It's one of those moments probably where we, even during this play, I heard you calling out when the inhib went down the first time. This would be an okay time to back and go to Baron, but really wanting to extend for that victory, they kind of overextended just the slightest amount, and it bites them in the end.
Yeah, I mean, because that's a kind of call that if the game like ends up being a loss, you're always going to go over it in your head because, yeah, we're 5v3 at Nexus. We can end. That's definitely a play. But if they back and they take Baron, there's still no guarantee they win. They can still lose team fights. They can still get Aphelios to 10 HP, and then he heals up to full. So it's they're going to do a lot of thinking on that. But I'm going to say again, I just hope they don't get dissuaded from this kind of playstyle. I want players and teams to be able to push their like aggression when they have advantages.
Yeah, without a doubt. Now, Crumbs, we've been hyper-focused here on Immortals because it just felt so close for them, and there is a lot of excitement around this roster coming in and maybe turning things around for them. But I do want to do our due diligence and talk about Evil Geniuses just a little bit. We're still seeing, I don't even want to call it experimentation because Orianna is not an experiment when it comes to a champion, but it still seems like we're seeing Evil Geniuses go for things that just don't match our image of them as a team.
It's because these champions are so powerful in the meta that they feel like they have to get them down. You must be playing the Orianna. You must have the Azirs. If they don't really figure them out now, when it comes to playoffs and they're maybe getting target banned or it just looks like the best pick and they can't bust it out, that's the position they're trying to avoid. But it still did not look as good as you would have hoped when we see other teams play out the Trundle and Orianna. There was a lot of sombreros just tossing left, right, and center. And a big part of it is that Trundle and Orianna as a mid 2v2 is really not as aggressive and punishing to a lot of champions, especially the more mobile ones like Azir and Lee Sin. It was only one time, I think it was a Trundle and Volibear, were able to catch out Xmithie in the jungle. But this is what happens to EG when you have a top side that got countered, when you have a bottom lane that's really just trying to make sure that Aphelios scales up, and then Jiizuke on Orianna.
Right, exactly. And this, so I'll also call this out. This was the longest game of the split so far. 3 of our 4 games today went over 40 minutes. This one was only a few seconds off that 50-minute mark. But it makes sense then, the context of a close game that goes this long, no one comes out of it looking squeaky clean and like they're ready to challenge Cloud9 necessarily. But it shows tenacity, it shows grit, and overall, it was just an incredibly entertaining game because it did seem to balance on a precipice for the entire time.
Oh, yeah, I don't know how you could predict this game at any point. Like, the gold leads were really, really tight. EG had a small one at the beginning, but it didn't really balloon until around, like, 30 minutes. They had around 4K almost gold lead, but at 30 minutes, that's really not substantial. So this was an exceptionally close game for such a long time. And even in that very last play when they were breaking into the base, I was going to call Immortals there. And 30 seconds later, I'm wrong.
I'm going to say right here, I think if Xmithie played a little bit better, this game was Immortals the whole way through, which you know he can, right? You know he has those amazing performances, and it's a testament to how well I think Allorim and Insanity are playing, and it's more like this is the year where we're finally starting to see Academy and LCS just mingle and blur into one big pool of, hey, we actually have talent in NA.
Yeah. The way it should be. I want to see more guys moving up. Allorim, again, we called out as a star. Insanity feels like he's just about there. Again, a couple mechanical mistakes are gonna stick in his brain from this week, but I'm excited to see what kind of progress he can make throughout the remainder of the split. Now, there is one other big hot topic that we got to make sure we take care of, particularly tied to this game. We started today by playing our first ever round of Emote Bingo. I am unfortunately sad to say that it is steeped in controversy, as there has been a major disagreement behind the scenes about who actually achieved Bingo to begin, between Prolly and Mark. Mark, unfortunately, is not here to defend his case, so Prolly, I'm going to hand you this platform over to you. Make your case.
I mean, I gotta say, Mark knew he was going to lose this argument, so he just dipped out as fast as he could, and I respect that. You know, if you can't,
he's here!
Oh, so close.
He's back.
No.
All right, but Prolly, go
right,
for it.
so
Why do you win?
Why do I win? All right, if you saw the order of emotes, it was the Ezreal finger up, which was Mark's victory, and then it was the Thresh Fire, which was my victory.
Yeah.
Now, according to some popular bingo websites that I've looked up diligently, it is important to know that bingo must be claimed on the most recent number called, or emote in our case. If the caller has already started announcing the next ball, it is too late to call bingo. Mark cannot call bingo once the Flame Thresh went up.
Whoa!
Boom.
Okay,
Okay.
interesting. Mark, your rebuttal.
No rebuttal. He
I'm
accepts
not hearing a
defeat.
rebuttal, so unfortunately, it sounds like Mark is out of luck here. No, in fact, I could probably represent his opinions here if I must. But I think from Mark's.
I know his argument.
Well, from Mark's perspective, it's about who the arbiter, right, of all of this is. He will also dispute the timeline of events. I'm going to make sure of that, and I'm sure he'll correct me in Discord chat here if I do misrepresent him. But one, he's going to dispute the timeline of events, claiming that the call of the Thresh Lantern was the actual thing that was called out in voice. But then his bingo was presented to who he believes is the true arbiter in this case, being the Twitterverse, the internet, as opposed to you, Prolly, who only claimed it within the scope of our Discord. I've got good news for you, though. I went to the LCS Emote Bingo officials for a statement, and they have submitted their declaration, so I'll read it to you here now. While the order of emote favors Mark's claim, the call of temporary bingo gives Prolly a solid claim. However, we cannot ignore the timing of Mark's bingo tweet, and therefore we cannot clearly proclaim a definitive winner and award both the honor. After all, isn't bingo really just about the friendships we made along the way?
Boo!
To that I say, to that I say boo as well. I say boo as well, and I award it to Prolly because he did the due diligence of going and finding the true official bingo rules online. The first ever emote bingo goes his way. That was a fun game, but I'm actually, I got to be honest, I'm amazed it took us till game 4 for any of us to hit bingo.
Yeah, we didn't get the camping emote once. We didn't get like the cat emotes as much. The cat
Angry
emotes,
cat.
everyone's spamming them all the time.
I was angry cat away from bingo for 2 games straight.
The games
What's
were
up
too
with
tight. The games were too tight today. Everybody was so tensed up they could not think about spamming emotes. It was all about ending the game or not throwing.
Also, it should be mentioned that Mark tampered, by the way, by tweeting out looking for people to use his emote specifically in that final game of the day. Maybe we'll bring that one back later in the split. Let's move ourselves right along, though, here at the end of the day. There were a lot of powerhouse matchups, and this weekend it came down to who stood out the most. The votes have been casted, and our Week 4's MasterCard Player of the Week goes to TSM Bjergsen.
He absolutely carried on the Twisted Fate, and then he had a pretty solid performance on Azir. Like, if he did not play the way he did on Azir, TSM definitely loses today. So I think that we're starting to see what Bjergsen is really capable of right now, as this meta seems to truly be in his wheelhouse.
Yeah, the sad truth of Bjergsen, like, he has this like kind of ceiling that he needs to be reaching in his games. We're actually used to seeing this kind of Bjergsen, where his team is doing okay but not great, and he has to be the one to kind of win the game for them, and that's exactly what he was doing. You mentioned the Twisted Fate. He would use his Destiny to top lane, he'd base, and then TP bot. Like, he was everywhere in that game, just completely causing chaos. And in a Azir game, I mean, that damage remitted is no joke. Even Doublelift in his interview mentioned that, Bjergsen was basically 1v5. And this is the kind of performance like we've seen before from him. So when we don't see it, we get really kind of salty. Like, where's this Bjergsen? Like, why isn't he coming back? So I'm really excited that he showed up this weekend this way, and I hope it stays for the rest of the season.
He raises the standards too highly, right? That's the problem. It's you saw him for the first time, like, okay, this is the bar, but you went to the most expensive restaurant in town, the best place possible. So now everything from now on just feels underwhelming.
Such a strong player for so long. Yeah, our expectations are through the roof when it comes to him, but an 11-2-12 performance on the weekend in terms of KDA does net him that MasterCard Player of the Week. And again, it can't be ignored that TSM now sits at 6-2, tied for second place in the league. Now, as we wrap up the weekend, let's go ahead and take a look at Samsung's SSD Fast 5 leaderboards to close things out. And this week, we had a bunch of shuffling occur on each of our leaderboards. So let me run you through a few of the top movers. In the top lane, Hauntzer, he tied his previous best. But also, Impact is going to pop into the top 5, knocking Ruin out of that leaderboard in terms of first to 100 CS. I think more importantly is that jungle role, gentlemen, where you see a 1-second differential between Svenskeren and Blabber on the level 6 timing.
It couldn't be more fitting that these two were on the same team together, and this is how close they've been able to cut down the jungle 6 time. Now, I'm pretty sure this was on Svenskeren's Olaf game, which is now starting to be the champion that you must play if you're trying to beat these records, because otherwise, nobody else can really farm that fast.
Yeah, and I mean, the top lane seeing no C9 member and the top lane or support now, I'm sure that's going to be like their new goal going forward, is to like beat this 100 CS, because 1029 doesn't seem that fast, but out of all these games, we have 2 tied for 1029, and like, good job for Hauntzer to give it up there.
Yeah, absolutely. The last one to call out would be Aframu, actually, who comes in to tie Zeyzal there at the top of the support leaderboards for the item transformation time. And also Poom, who debuted for 100 Thieves this week in the LCS, debuts just behind them. So a whole bunch of movement when it comes to the support position. We'll keep tracking those stats, though, as the weeks roll on. Let's go ahead and take a look at those standings, see where the teams fall coming out of Week 4. We have C9 way out in front. 8-0 stands their record. Only one more before they complete the first round robin. 7. Team Liquid TSM sitting at 6 and 2, sharing second with Evil Geniuses and FlyQuest just behind. CLG rounding out the top 6 at 4 and 4, and then you move to the teams who are sitting under 500. But very excited to see what those roster moves that came in just this week will do for those bottom tier teams in starting to climb the ladders. Any initial thoughts when it comes to which of those teams is most likely to start shooting up?
I think Immortals, more than any other team, they're the one team that has the worst record but has been contesting all those teams that are gunning for second place. So I want to see just how far these guys can go, because none of the other teams at the bottom seem to really be hitting the same stride that these guys are.
Yeah.
All right. Well, go ahead. Sorry,
I was going to throw out, like, I don't know, I thought the Dig roster moves weren't too impressive, but the way they played against Cloud9, that gave me a little revitalization. They kind of kept up, and they were fighting for a long time, so I'm kind of excited to see how they do next week.
All right, I like to hear that. Well, the LCS returns next week with Immortals and Dignitas, followed by FlyQuest versus 100 Thieves. Make sure you tune in Saturday, where TSM, the only team to take a game off of Cloud9 in spring 2020 when it came to the regular split, will get their chance to do the same thing here against them in Game 2. Now, can't wait till Friday? That's all right. Tune into The Dive, This or That, Academy Rush, and much more of the LCS all week long. That's going to do it from us here, though. So now, on behalf of myself, the casters, the entire live broadcast crew, definitely not Mark, though, because he left early. Not all right, dude. Not cool. Skipping out on us. Thank you for watching. We'll see you over on twitch.tv/Bud Light for the Bud Light League Lounge. Good night.